to talk to you all about attachment parenting, also known as gentle parenting. The long-term vision for attachment parenting is to raise our children with praise, to become adults with a well-development of empathy and connection. The basic foundation of attachment parenting is to create a strong bond with closeness and attachment with the child. According to the Attachment Parenting International, they say that forming and nurturing strong connections between parents and their children, it challenges us as parents to treat our children with kindness, respect, and dignity, and to model in our interactions with them the way we'd like them to interact with others. So with attachment parenting, we like to really try and lead by example as opposed to do as I say, not as I do. So for attachment parenting, there are 8 principles to follow in order to follow this parenting technique. The first way is to prepare for pregnancy, birth, and parenting. Second is to feed with love and respect. The third is to respond with sensitivity. And the fourth is to use a nurturing touch. 5 is to ensure safe sleep physically and emotionally. And the next one is to provide consistent and loving care, practice positive discipline, and strive for balance in personal and family life. So let's talk a little bit about these 8 principles. The first one is to prepare for pregnancy, birth, and parenting. And the way we do this is you need to have a healthy pregnancy. By having a healthy pregnancy, you need to be physically active, have a healthy diet, and try to remain stress-free. Also, you need to become educated. And when I say educated, I don't mean about the clothes or the toys or the crib that you need to buy. What I mean by that is whenever you have your child, do you want to do cord blood donating? Do you want to do circumcisions? How do you want your child to be bathed in the hospital? Do you want your child to be vaccinated? And whenever you and your partner come up with this plan of action, you need to make a document about it. You need to give it to your healthcare professional that's going to be working with you, whether it be a regular doctor or a doula, whoever you choose to work with. And also you need to create reasonable expectations. Don't make yourself out to be mother or father of the world. You can't be everything that you wish and aspire to be. All you can do is your best. Another way to do this is you need to self-reflect on your childhood. Take a look at the way that your parents parented you and how you felt about the way that they handled situations that you might possibly be in with your children. And another way to prepare for pregnancy, birth, and parenting is to establish a healthy and strong relationship with your partner. And like I said before, attachment parenting is a lot about showing your child how they need to act by you doing those actions. So if you treat your partner in a loving and respectful way with kindness, dignity, and respect, your child is going to want to treat their future partner that way. The next way is to feed with love and respect. And by feeding your child with love and respect, we're talking about the way you want to nurse your child. Typically with attachment parenting, the number one way to nurture a baby is by breastfeeding. And whenever you breastfeed your child, we always try to nurse on demand, veer away from schedules and try to comfort their needs of sucking because it's very persistent in newborns as well up into 6 months, 9 months old. Another thing that we like to do is we try to stay away from the baby cereals, like you might be familiar with rice cereal or oatmeal cereal, just because it's empty calories and it also takes away from the bond of breastfeeding because you start to wean the minute you start giving your child solids. And so we're all about promoting the closeness and the attachment that you'll have with your child. And then as your child starts to get older, since we don't want to push foods down their throat with baby foods, we're going to try baby-led weaning. And baby-led weaning is whenever you give your child foods that you're eating, say at about 7, 8, 9 months old, and you just let them gnaw on it and they eat it themselves, and it allows them to explore their creativity and create some independence for themselves versus you doing everything for them. And as your child gets older, you want to model some healthy eating habits. As I said before, just you model by your actions and not by the way you tell them to do things. And so our next principle that we like to practice is to respond with sensitivity. And how do you respond sensitively? If you have more than one child in a situation, if there is a scenario where a child gets hurt, you always want to go to that child that is in pain or discomfort, and you want to comfort that child before taking action with the other child. Next, you need to create a safe environment. You want to set up an environment to where you don't have to tell your child no. You want to set up an environment where your child isn't potentially going to get hurt. And so we like to create what we call a yes environment, to where they are able to be independent and creative and free to express themselves as a child. And as your child gets older, you should share interests with your child. It allows you to promote closeness and have a bond with them. If you share the same interests, you can have those connections together. Also, look through their eyes. And by this I mean, if you have your child and they're getting into something, say they're 6 or 7 months old, and they're getting into a drawer and pulling all the Tupperware out of the cabinet and it's frustrating you, take a look through your child's eyes and see what they may be feeling, that they're this 6, 7-month-old baby who's very creative about the world, and we should be promoting their creativity and independence. And no labeling. By labeling, an example of this is labeling emotions. Whenever a child is upset, we don't like to go to children and say, why are you mad? Why are you sad? We like to ask them just how they're feeling, just in a general broadened spectrum, to allow them to identify their own emotions, so we don't make them think that they're feeling a certain way or force those emotions and opinions on them. Next, we like to use a nurturing touch. And to use a nurturing touch with your baby or your toddler, first thing, as soon as your child's born, and even up until the end of their toddler year, just skin-to-skin contact, or you all might understand as a kangaroo time. You strip the baby down and you strip yourself down and just promote the contact there. Breastfeeding also allows for a nurturing touch, promotes a bond and closeness with the mother. And joint baths, obviously not acceptable with older children, but with your baby or your toddler, again, you have the skin-to-skin contact there, and that would help promote that as well. And I'll skip ahead to the bouncers, strollers, and jumpers. We like to avoid those because these devices allow for more time to be separated from our child. And with attachment parenting, we're all about the closeness. So a way to go around these things to where you can still have your free hands and you can get the house clean and get dinner cooked, go grocery shopping. You can baby wear your child with a Tula, an Ergo, a Moby, Boba, double woven wrap, whichever you like the best. And then with your older child, to have a nurturing touch, just use some affection, hugs and kisses all the time. And if you raise them up in this environment, whenever they're 10 years old, 14 years old, 18 years old, the minute they walk through that door, they're going to give their mom a hug and kiss. Some of you still might do that today. And with playfulness and games, just to promote tickling and wrestling in the house, just a lot of physical contact with your child promotes that closeness. And obviously, as your child gets older, you're not going to be able to wear your child forever. So if you just like to promote that closeness, you can always have your child sit on your lap in situations, or you can hold their hand as you're crossing the street together, or whatever you like to do. Our next principle is to ensure safe sleep physically and emotionally. And the way we do this with attachment parenting, we do not do any sleep training whatsoever. And by sleep training, usually that is represented by putting a child in their crib, letting them cry it out to go to sleep, forcing them to be independent and forcing them to self-soothe whenever babies are not capable of self-soothing before a year old. So by doing this, we will bring our children into our rooms, also known as co-sleeping, and either put them in a side pack to put on the side of our bed, in a bassinet, a rock and play, whatever you like to do for your choice. Or you can bed share, where your child can sleep in bed with you, or known as a family bed. So But if you're going to do the bed sharing, you have to take extra precautions because SIDS can be at higher stakes if you don't remove the blankets from your bed or the pillows from your bed because your child is at risk for suffocation. So you obviously want to take the extra precautions to ensure your child's safety. And keep a bedtime routine. The bedtime routine in attachment parenting, which is probably very similar to mainstream parenting, is a warm bath followed by a soft or gentle activity like a lullaby or a book or rocking to sleep, and then nursing them to sleep and putting them down. And this one, you don't want to neglect your partner time, and yes, I do mean sex. So if you have a child sleeping in your bed, you need to get creative because with attachment parenting, it makes it a little bit harder for you and your partner to have your intimate time together. So if you and your partner start lacking in the intimacy area, obviously through your day-to-day life, there's going to be some frustrations there. And those frustrations are going to show to your child and show that you're having marital or spouse problems. And it'll teach them that it is okay to have these issues with one another. The next one is to provide consistent and loving care. And the way we do this is create a baby schedule. And when I say baby schedule, I mean get rid of your old schedule that you had before you had your baby. Don't try to fit them in. Create a new one around them because it's not their purpose to serve you. It's yours to give them a life. And separational anxiety, it's a big thing with children. You should never make your child feel upset or tell them it's not okay to be sad if you leave them at daycare or if you leave them with a family member. It's okay for them to express those emotions and you need to play into them, but do not shame them or make them feel bad for them. And something that'll make the separation anxiety a little bit easier is leave them with a child care who practice attachment parenting. Luckily, we've been fortunate enough that my mother, she's trying to break the cycle and she's trying to respect our wishes and she will follow the principles of attachment parenting. And after being away from your child, always reunite with cuddles, hugs, and kisses and try to put back the notion in their head that that bond is still there. So another principle is to practice positive discipline. In Attachment Parenting International states, discipline that is empathetic, loving, and respectful strengthens the connection between parent and child, while harsh or overly punitive discipline weakens the connection. So for positive discipline, I already mentioned to you earlier about a yes environment. So you have an idea of that. And also by creating a yes environment, you can create areas in the household where they are allowed to go and explore creatively. Like with the Tupperware issue that I mentioned earlier, you could create a drawer in the kitchen that's filled with scarves or things that they're allowed to play with, and they keep changing it up so they can be creative and they can be independent. Offer natural consequences. By this, I mean, if your child wants to start learning how to drink out of a cup, your first reaction might be, no, don't drink out of that cup because you're going to spill it everywhere, spill it all over yourself. Well, with attachment parenting, we embrace that. We say, go for it, take a drink out of it, spill that cold water all over your body. And I know that sounds terrible, but the minute that cold water rushes over their body, maybe not the first time or the second time or the third time that it happens, but eventually it will click that this child needs to take extra precaution when drinking out of the glass, or he needs to ask for help, he or she. So natural consequences is a positive tool for discipline rather than telling our child no that they can't do things. It allows them to be independent and make choices for themselves. And that leads me to my next point, offer choices. Don't ever just tell them to do something. Make them feel like they have a say in the household, that they have a say in what's going on in their life. Allow them to pick out of 3, 4, 5 outfits what they want to wear for school that day. Or allow them to choose out of 2 or 3 items what the whole family eats for dinner that night. So they feel important and they feel like they're on the same level as you and Dad are, or the other siblings. And with older children, we're working together for solutions. If there's ever a problem in the household, don't ever just come up with a solution primarily by yourself or just you and Dad. Make the whole family feel included so that everyone is at terms with the solution and will go through with it. And then discipline's a role play. This is a very big one with toddlers, like whenever they're in the hitting phase or they're in the biting phase or the slapping phase. You can play roles between the children or between you and child, get down to their level, and have them play the person that was the recipient of the harm. And have them connect to the emotions of how that person felt, so hopefully next time they decide to make the decision to hit someone or act on impulse to harm another person, maybe they'll realize that that hurts their feelings or it hurts them. Another thing is the time-ins. It is an opposition of timeouts. Timeouts encourages a child or encourages parents to put children in isolation and feel like they can't come to someone and talk to someone whenever they've done something wrong. Time-ins encourage the children to come to their parents and talk through the problem with their parents and to come to a solution about it, onto how they should react about the situation next time. Don't force apologies. Because all of us know the worst thing whenever someone does something wrong to us is getting a big apology. And whenever we are children, whenever you have a fight with a sibling or a friend, superior is always telling you, now go apologize and make up. So if you don't force apologies whenever children are younger, hopefully it'll implement in their mind that they shouldn't say sorry to someone unless they're actually sorry and make it meaningful. Don't impose your will on your child. Because if you impose your own will on your child, there's not going to be meaning behind it as to why it could benefit everyone in the whole household rather than just you, and it can cause a lack of distrust from the child to you. And if you have to use consequences, negative consequences for a problem that the child did, you need to make sure that you do them with compassion. And then also create incentives for the older children, like with potty training or spelling test or anything that they do, just to be creative about it and make them feel like there was some praise in what they do. And the last principle in attachment parenting is strive for balance in personal and family life. Balance is the foundation on which attachment grows. And ways to create balance is, again, be healthy just by your exercising and eating well and not overstressing. Don't overschedule. Take a look at everything you're going on and don't try and put too much in there to take away from you and your family. Have couples time, whether if it's just watching a movie on the couch or date night. Make time for your spouse. Know how to say no if someone's going to put harm on you and your family. And be able to put boundaries down so that you can take good time for yourself and your family. You need to enjoy today, because if you're stressing about yesterday or stressing about tomorrow, you're not really going to take advantage of what today has to offer you. And understand that things can change. Nothing is set in stone. You need to remain flexible and take time for yourself, and always follow your heart and listen to your child, because you are that child's mother or that child's father, and you know what's best. So, according to Goodell, I think this sums up attachment parenting very well. The nature of relationships may vary greatly depending on how mothers and fathers respond to their infant's needs. Research has identified the 4 primary types of relationships are linked to the patterns of maternal and paternal responsiveness with their infants. So to kind of put things together about the principles here, AP eliminates violence in the home as a means for raising children. So if we eliminate the violence in the home, we are hopefully shaping their mind to eliminate violence in the rest of the world. And if we raise our child in a life where we're treating people with the kindness, dignity, and respect in that household, hopefully our children one day will go out into that world and teach other people, or treat other people with kindness, dignity, and respect. Thank you.
Aye.